This is Happy Monkey.
This is Happy Monkey.
Happy Monkey. Happy Monkey.
This is Happy Monkey.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Yo, what's up, Rose? Happy Monkey. It's the ex-flirt here, just showing some love in this quarantine. It's the wake and bake time. Hope everybody is being safe, sending love, light, and healing to everybody. I'm here, the ex-flirt. Mwah. Love y'all.
All right, everybody. Today on the Happy Monkey Podcast, we got a first, y'all. This is the things that we like to do. We got a first because this is our first phone call interview. This is like crazy, so this is an uncharted space that we are entering here with a friend of ours here. You want to start the introductions, my friend?
Ladies and gentlemen out there in Happy Monkey World, today we have an amazing woman that's a canapreneur, doing amazing things in the industry. She is founder of Higher Way Travel, former official travel coordinator for the High Times Cannabis Cup, certified yoga instructor, judged for over a dozen cannabis competitions, moderator and panelist of the Hawaii Cannabis Cup. Our sister from another mother, April Black. Thank you for joining
round of
the Happy Monkey Podcast on the Boulevard.
Absolutely.
Now we need you
Hello.
to tell the people and reintroduce yourself and tell them where you are and what you do, young lady.
All right. Well, I am live here in California.
Nice.
In a little place that nobody knows, halfway between LA and San Francisco. It's this town called Paso Robles. And it's just, it's wine country, and this is where we live right now. So that's where I'm calling from. No one knows where it is. So.
Oh, we do.
It's all right.
But now you do, and if you ever want to come to Cali and drink wine and smoke weed, I'm your person.
That sounds like a great place to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is our first time taking a call from all the way from California. So, like we were speaking right before we started recording, like, again, we are popping our cherry right here, young lady.
Oh, cheers to that, you guys. Cheers to that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
well, we used to live out there on the East Coast. My husband, Bobby, used to work at High Times for a very long time.
Shout out to Bobby.
Shout out to Bobby.
And so we were living in Jersey City, and we were living that East Coast life for a long time. And then when things started getting different over there at High Times, we took the opportunity to move to California. So that's why we're here now. But I got big love for all my New York City and my Jersey City peoples out there. I miss all of you guys.
Thank you. We out here working, girl.
So
man.
We need to understand, April, how this magical journey of you and the cannabis industry started. So walk us through a little bit where you're born and raised at. How did you get into the cannabis industry?
Sure. Well, I was born in Las Vegas.
Ooh,
Yeah, I was born in Las
Viva
Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, you don't meet a lot of people who are born in Las Vegas.
No.
But I grew up in Phoenix, and Arizona has always been kind of a not cool weed place to live. But you know how it is. You still smoke, you still grow. And I was, going back and forth from Vegas to Phoenix because I had a lot of friends, and I was really involved with the glass world, and I was involved with the camp trade show, and I used to participate in that. And then I just started meeting some folks at High Times, and folks in the glass industry said to me, "Hey, April, do you want to go to Amsterdam with us? Our daughter got accepted to be the official stash up for the cup, and we want you to come to Amsterdam with us." And I said, "Well, fuck yeah, I want to go to Amsterdam." And that was in 2006, and that's when I met Bobby, and we've been together ever since. So when I moved in with him after dating long distance, I got a job booking all the trips for the Amsterdam Cannabis Cup. And that's where it all starts.
That sounds like an amazing journey right there. So tell
Yeah,
us,
it was an insane journey.
tell
I
us
did
what it
not
was.
expect it.
Tell us what it was like judging a cannabis cup.
Oh, well, it's awesome. It depends on which category because it's different with every category. Like if you have edibles, you have to take all your edibles, lay them out, look at all the packaging, see what's sativa, see what's indica, see what's going to like lay you out for the day or what you can take earlier in the day that will help you be more productive.
Yeah.
Get a game plan. With hash too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I judged was Emerald Cup, and I was judging some BHO concentrates, and there was 64 of them.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, and you only have about 10 days. But the cream rises to the top. You smoke through it. If it kind of gives you a weird taste in your mouth, if it smells
That's
weird,
wild.
if the packaging's all.
That sounds
Yeah, it's a
awesome,
whole
though.
different world.
That's
It's badass.
it is badass. That sounds like a stoner's dreams come true.
It is. It is.
That's-
I love it. I take it seriously. People put their heart and soul out there to make this medicine.
Yeah, to make real good quality stuff, man. People put their, like you said, their life, their time, a lot of their efforts, and like, you know, everybody's going hard.
Yeah.
I imagine Cannabis Monkey took you to a lot of amazing destinations. Tell us some of the amazing places you visited due to the cannabis industry.
Sure. Well, you know, I've been to Amsterdam. I've been to Barcelona. I have been to this little island off of Spain called Mallorca to check out some weed grows. Been to Canada. Been to Hawaii, Jamaica, Costa Rica, all for weed stuff.
Oh,
Cannabis is taking you around the globe, young lady.
I guess that's why you
Yeah.
started the higher way travels.
Yep, that's exactly why I started Higher Way Travel because it's really nice to be able to go vacation where you can be you, where you can smoke, or maybe even if you're lucky enough, there'll be a grow on site and you can get your herb there.
Well,
which
April,
exists.
you need to help us and the people out there in Happy Monkey World understand what the company Higher Way Travel is all about and what it embodies.
All right, well, we are a travel agency. And so what I've done is my niche market is my people, my stoners.
Mm-hmm.
all the stoners out there. So I have relationships with different hotels, different destinations that are cool with weed, don't care if you want to smoke on property, or they are also in the weed industry themselves, so to speak, and they have their own grows on their own properties where guests can tour the grows and they can indulge in the cannabis that they grow.
That sounds like an interesting
Yeah.
concept. And
That sounds amazing.
tell us about some places where you've booked some clients' trips that have to do with that.
So all right. So every year for 420, we do this cannabis retreat called Baked on the Beach, and that's in Jamaica. And that's at this spot called Coral Cove. That's about 10 minutes away from Negril. And if you're familiar with Negril, you know it's a party town, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of hustle and bustle. But 10 minutes away, it's just a real chill kind of spot. You can go enjoy the hustle and bustle and come back to chillness and just zone out in your high kind of thing.
So you haven't traveled so much. What would you say the cannabis scene is like? Give us the contrast between like let's say South America and Europe, and what different things you saw that they all have their own different distinction from the U.S.
Well, I haven't been to South America. I've been to Central America. So I've been to Costa Rica. And so, you know, weed's illegal in Costa Rica, but just like wherever anything is illegal, there's a will, there's a way. And so there's growers out there. There's people that are making hash. There's different companies like Raw Papers and stuff that, you know, have distributors out there that are promoting and doing the work. When we were out there, we were kind of out there scouting out properties that were cool with cannabis use and that they wouldn't find people if we sent people there and they wanted to enjoy smoking a joint while laying in their hammocks and whatnot. And we were getting ready to go on a hike, and just as we were cruising up the hike, we saw this guy selling trinkets, and he was rolling up a joint. And so we started chatting with him. I don't really speak Spanish very well, and his English wasn't so great, but I put some buds in his joint, and we had a really good time.
Exactly.
You guys spoke the cannabis language.
Yeah, we smoked the language of cannabis for sure. And I had some mushrooms with me, so I gave him a nice mushroom.
That might have been super awesome.
He loved it because then we did the hike, and then we came back down from the hike, and the city we were in is called Montezuma, and it's very small. It's like so small, like 3 streets. And later on, we saw him that night, and he was saying, "Oh, the hongos! Oh, it made me so creative."
I'm gonna tell you their favorite saying, which I know you remember, April, because I've been to Costa Rica. Pura vida.
Ah, pura vida. Pure life. It's true there. It's real, man. It's real. It's real. So yeah, so they just, they don't have. It's just like old school style, The weed isn't that great, but if you know people that live in the mountains or people who've gotten genetics, they're growing it good up in the mountains, and you know the right people, you can get good shit.
So yes, that's awesome. So that's basically you're providing a full 20 lifestyle anywhere any of your friends land.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I just kind of get you where you need to go, where you will be treated right, you won't be in trouble, and you'll be able to have access to your meds.
So we always ask everybody their first time. What was your first time like smoking, and how was that? And walk us through that journey, and help us understand
getting high.
how this love story with cannabis started.
Well, okay, so my parents smoke weed. They always have. And so when I was younger, I was like in 8th grade, and I stole some nugs from my parents, and I was going to go smoke with 3 of my dude friends. Well, one of the guys got in trouble. He was the dude with the pipe. But I still had the weed, and we had the other guys with us. So we went to the store, and we got some Reese's peanut butter cup, mini peanut butter cup.
The munchies.
No, we didn't even get high yet.
Oh.
But we needed something to smoke, and we were in 8th grade, and we didn't know shit about making an apple pipe or making a pipe out of a can. We were dumbasses, so we actually rolled the weed up in the paper wrapper of a Reese's peanut butter cup. Yeah.
That's creative.
That was creative, and it was super duper harsh.
That must have been chocolatey and
yeah. Oh, it was weird. It was weird. But then about 2 months later, in the summertime, before 9th grade, my parents left, and I took their bong, and I had friends come over, and we were smoking in their bong, and then that's the first time I really, really got high.
What kind of weed was it? Do you remember what kind of weed was it?
Probably nothing spectacular, considering it was Arizona. It was probably some brickweed.
Brickweed, baby. That's what it was back then. That's what we all started with.
Yeah, total brickweed.
That was what everybody fell in love with, brickweed.
That was the beginning.
Yeah, it's true. And then when I got into high school, I got to get better weed, know better growers and people and all that kind of stuff. And I hooked my parents up with this herb around Christmas time, and when it was Christmas time, it was always called Christmas bud because it was after harvest season, and then the harvest was sold at Christmas time. And there was this weed I brought home, and my parents still call it the weed that went through the walls. My mom was spraying her air freshener outside in the backyard.
It sounds like some sour, something that we call loud over here.
Yeah, exactly. It was the real deal.
So I wanted to ask you, I can imagine you working for High Times. Do you think you're a little spoiled by now as far as good weed and all the different, different ways of consuming that you've had?
Do you think I'm spoiled?
Yeah, I
Did
imagine
say?
after judging
Yeah,
Cubs and being around high
100
times.
420% spoiled.
420%.
Yes, absolutely. I am very, very spoiled on the weed world.
Oh
And
man, you've tasted everything and like everything, right?
yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't like everything. Like herb that has a lot of orange taste to it. Kind of gives me a lot of heartburn, so I really don't like that so much. But I love gassy weed. Gassy stuff is my favorite.
Gassy.
Yeah. So you're more like a flower. You like more flowers than concentrates or edibles. What's your favorite thing?
Water hash.
Water
is number one.
hash. Ooh.
Yeah.
Why water
Water.
hash?
Because that shit is the cream of the crop. It takes art and stuff to finesse the glands out of the plant properly, and then drying it properly and not having it get moldy. It takes a special skill.
So you like that shit hit that shit that hits hard then basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Basically, yes.
Basically, that's that because that's real like OG status.
So you must know our friend Frenchie Cannoli.
Oh yes, very, very well. I've enjoyed some beautiful hits from his hookah.
Yeah, so I'm
And
pretty.
if you ever get a chance to go to a Frenchie party where he has the hookah pulled out, you better hit it because it will be nice and it will be smooth.
So tell us, April, when did you know? You told us about, how, you started consuming cannabis. When did you know that cannabis was going to be a career and a actual,
Like that's it.
you're going to be fully committed to it?
Oh, I knew right away, and when I first started getting into weed, that it was going to be part of my life, my whole life. I just felt such a kinship to the plant, and we've been buddies since I was 14, and I'm 40 now, and so it's been like my most trusted, longest relationship is my relationship with Mary Jane.
What would you say, you being around so long and watching all the transition, the difference from the industry from when you first got in it and you started to now?
Well, you just have all these other people trying to get in on it, people who shamed us for so long.
You were around when they were shaming, huh?
Yeah, people who are like, oh, I would never use cannabis. Look at you losers. Marijuana, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're trying to hustle CBD, or they're trying to, be cannabis educators, or they're trying to, get into the industry in any way that they can. Where I don't necessarily think if you don't smoke cannabis, you shouldn't be in the industry, but I don't think that you should have been down on it for so long and then all of a sudden want to be in on the action.
We call it the hypocrisy of the democracy, April.
Yeah. That's what's up.
It's like we were just talking about that. It's just like right now, me and my partner, we're minorities, we're Dominican, and it's just like when they had the war on it, they used to target our communities and, do all, like you said, shame us and, do all these bad things to us. And now, like you said, it's going mainstream. Now they're like, it's okay, and they want the majority to be all for them.
Yeah, they just start expunging people's records and cleaning their records and, making a fair game play for everyone, not just people with money.
There you go.
Yeah,
because that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So many people are getting pushed out.
Yeah, they need to make
People
that more
who-
accessible.
People who went to jail, whose family suffered, and and everything are getting what they have built taken away from them.
Very much. Even now so in 2020, there's still states that even them being
Even
legal,
more.
right? Them being legal, having shops, they still getting raided, complying with all the licenses and everything that the state, that they have to go through, and they're still getting raided and still going through all these things. So what do we do about that?
Grab. you know, it's the social equity programs that are taking place, and people are talking about that. The conversation has been sparked, and people want change. So I think a lot what's happening now is people are standing up to that. People are standing up to the, you know, the disrespect, really, what's going on. Yeah, people are standing up to it. People are actually not just saying it, they're actually applying action to it.
That's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take everybody to really, put the best foot forward and really, let them know that it's not okay. So just like turn on the switch overnight and just forget about the last 40, 50 years.
Yeah, no, I know. Just like with these licensing, when I was in Hawaii and we were on the Women in Cannabis conference, one of the questions was, what are you going to do about the licensing and making sure that, in Hawaii, they're talking about the Native community, but, people of color should get those licenses. And how do you make sure that these people who are coming from out of state aren't applying for 20 different licenses, and what do you do to cap that? And what's the percentage now that you would do for, people of color getting those licenses versus people who are already established in other states doing businesses versus just the regular mom and pop shop that's been trying to do it for however long, There's got to be some sort of percentage divvied up to make it fair and not just the guys with the money hoarding all the licenses.
Basically.
No, definitely we see that going on so much. It's like you said, after they look down upon it so much, now all of corporate America is like knee deep in it and like, just trying to like buy out everything and we always say that, it's going to take for the industry to really be big, it's going to take the culture and the corporate, but they're just trying to leave the culture out.
Yeah, they're culture vultures.
Culture vultures.
Yeah, man, they're culture vultures. But yeah, that's what I think about that stuff.
You mentioned Hawaii. How was that? How's the cannabis scene over there?
They have a really tight knit cannabis community in Hawaii, and even though it's a nation of different islands, all the growers know each other. They have different contests that they put on amongst each other, and they share genetics and stuff. And what they do is they like to talk story and just tell generational stories and kind of keep that spirit alive with the growing and the culture of working with the earth. So it's a family thing there. You go to the Hawaii Cannabis Expo and people bring their kids.
That's nice.
So they're really normalizing it over there.
Yeah, they are, and they're very politically active. They've got some really good programs. So they're watching what we're doing here on the mainland, and they're taking notes.
It's crazy. I always tell people, I have never been to Hawaii, but every person that I've met that is from Hawaii has this peace. Like they carry this vibe and this peace in their pocket. So it just tells me it must be an amazing place for everybody that I meet from over there to have this like peaceful Zen vibe with them.
Yeah, the aloha.
You know what that's called? That's called the aloha spirit.
The aloha spirit.
Yep, the aloha spirit. And it shows itself to you, and you are even seeing it being revealed to you just by the people that you meet there, the aloha spirit.
That aloha spirit seems amazing. These people seem like in such a good place and peace of mind. It's insane.
We need some of that aloha spirit over here on this side.
I wanted to ask you, April, that goes to my next question. What do you hear about the scene in New York currently?
Well, I see a lot of people flossing CBD stuff, and that CBD's everywhere. You can get a shot of CBD in your coffee, and you can get CBD lotions and topicals and stuff everywhere. But like it's decriminalized, but there's no shops really. I don't think you guys have any dispensaries, or if you have a dispensaries, I think you only have too, and you have to really be a medical patient, and you can't. They don't sell smokable weed, or they don't sell hash, and it's only 10.
Nope, none of that.
No flour.
None of that. Okay, I don't know where
They only have basically like oils,
Yeah, concentrates.
concentrates, and edibles, and that's it, I believe.
Okay, but no flour.
No
No.
flour.
None.
Okay, that's what it was. No flour.
So there's
I
no
remember
flour.
hearing on that.
There's no flour in the biggest consuming city in the world.
Yeah, that's gonna have to change.
Of course. Do you think New York is becoming more of a cannabis destination?
Well, I mean, I kind of think it always has been a
It always
cannabis
has been.
destination. Yeah, if you're a stoner, you can figure out your ways. You can find your people, and you can go do so many cool weed things, you know. But like on the map, like come here and check out our finest hemp farm, maybe, because I know you got hemp farms out there.
Yes.
That might be a thing. But yeah, you know, I think you guys still got some work to do of making it a cannabis destination. But if
Yeah, a
you're
lot of
weed
work.
head, you already know how to do that.
You already know how to do that.
Yeah, well, well, basically, we've been doing it all our lives. You got, whether you like it or not, if you smoke weed here and you're from New York City, you're from New Jersey, from Connecticut, you know, this whole little area over here, you've been kind of being a rebel your whole life without necessarily being a badass or nothing. You just self-medicating, and we just find our ways, and you find your people, like you said. That's it.
Self-medicate, and you look up and you enjoy the architecture, and you stumble across some crazy ass art or listen to some cool ass music in the subway. You know, it's like a great place just to be medicated and walk around.
What do you think about the current state of the cannabis industry, especially you that you've seen a transition from before to now in California?
Oh, what a nightmare.
A nightmare.
Situation.
Why do you
Nightmare,
say that?
because I'll tell you. Yeah, so it's like this. I live in this town called Paso Robles, right? And then our county opted out of having any dispensaries. And a lot of counties in California opted out of having any dispensaries. So, you know, that leaves like you got true homebound medical patients, right, who use cannabis to get through their life and get out of bed or whatever. And maybe they don't drive because they're homebound, like I said. So now they have to either have a delivery person come, but you're kind of beholden to what they have, you know. And even if you call the delivery person over, are you going to say, oh, no, I don't want any of that. All right, see you later, bye. You're going to buy something if you want it or not. So
they kind of got you like cornered.
yeah. And the closest dispensary to me is like 51 miles. Now we have this thing where you can grow 6 plants, but you can't grow your plants outside, and you can only grow them inside. But you know, not all patients want to grow or have the ability or could even afford it.
Yep, because then that's an extra light bill.
Yeah, especially in California in the summertime, where we're at, it gets pretty toasty.
Yeah, having them extra lights in the home does not help.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, you know, you could do LED lights and stuff, but still, that equipment's expensive. Just to get a decent LED light, you know, you still got to drop some money that maybe you don't have.
Right, so basically, if you're a regular consumer, you don't know any growers, and you live in this town, you have to basically drive out about an hour to get your medication.
Where I'm at, yeah. But then, like in let's say in the desert, Palm Desert area, or in LA, or in San Francisco, or even more north in California, it is popping. There's dispensaries everywhere. There's one dispensary that's.
But that's what I was asking you, April. As a whole, what do you think they've done as far as like the regulations and the way that they set everything up over there in California?
Oh, they've messed things up. You know, they made the cap on the milligrams that are allowed in edibles, so that's capped at 100 milligrams. That's not very much. What if you normally take a 500 milligram candy bar throughout the day. Now you got to buy 5 of them. Eights are like super expensive. Eights are like $60 plus tax.
Plus tax.
And then you have plus tax, and then you have all this packaging because everyone wants to have their stuff and their product in a nice jar and a nice box, and it all has to be under the current regulations, which is always in a constant state of flux.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're basically telling me it's a Barnum and Bailey circus what they done over there.
Yes, it is a full-on Barnum and Bailey circus.
Oh man, that's
they brought
crazy.
out the clowns.
Yeah, that's good that you're saying that, because a lot of our people don't know that this is happening in California, and that the apes are $60 plus tax, and that that people, you need to go through regulations and you got to pay this much, and not everybody in every place in California has the easy access like LA and North California and all these places that you just said.
Yeah, but if you do want to go to like a city like LA or San Francisco, you're good.
Weed everywhere.
More than good.
Weed everywhere.
Weed everywhere.
Because that's what we think over here.
Yeah. I know everyone thinks like the whole state of California has it going on.
Yeah, no, they think that. On top of that, like, they think that over there that everything is gonna be so different, and it's like a weed paradise, and it's like so simple, but it's not, and they think it's gonna be like so much different than here, and it's not, No.
Yeah. It's not. The grass is not greener over here. It is not simple. You can grow your own, but you still gotta be a somewhat decent gardener to make sure that your weed doesn't suck. Not everyone has those gardening skills, so that's why it's nice to have the dispensary conveniently located in each and every county. And there is someone, a congressman from our state, who's actually working for accessibility, so we'll see how that plays out.
Let's see how that plays out. And we're just hoping over here to get a glimpse of what's going on, because we're still in very infancy of the cannabis space over here. So we like to know, your opinion on a lot of these things. That's why my partner likes to ask.
You know what? I think I think Colorado has a good program because they have the rec shops, and then they have the medicinal shops, or sometimes the shops are in one and the medicinal's on one side and the rec is on the other side, and they still honor the medicinal cards and the different ailments and different things that you can get medical marijuana for, and then you get it for a reduced price. So I like that, and I think that other states should look towards that model.
You haven't traveled so much globally. Do you think there are any countries that are doing it right, that are on the verge? Because people think it's just a U.S. movement, the cannabis movement, and it's going on all over the world. So you being so well traveled.
Yeah, well, Canada's got it kind of weird because they got this mail order system. So you have to they mail you your weed. So that's kind of weird. It's kind of cool and kind of weird.
Okay.
Jamaica, they have dispensaries. So
Jamaica has dispensaries?
Wait, but let's not skip Canada real quick before we go into Jamaica. So if I just get to Canada right now, this moment, we all land in Canada together. For us, with no weed, because let's say none of us have weed. Hong Kong, quote, no, we don't got weed. I would have to order and get it delivered by mail, like the next day or like 2 days later.
Well, that's when it first went live with their legalization. That's how it happened. Now, I think there's locations open now where you can go, and they have a lot of cannabis tourism up there too, different tours, different bus tours, and different activities that you can do. And some of those activities do involve going into a dispensary.
Okay.
So when they first rolled out their legal program, they weren't open yet, and it was via mail.
Craziness. So tell us about Jamaica.
Okay, so now let's go into Jamaica.
That they had dispensaries there, and how does that look, and how's that working?
They're they're really nice. You know, over the years, they've been stepping up their genetics game. People have been bringing them genetics. People have been traveling there for years. And
Wait. So in Jamaica, is it all the way legal now? It's recreational or it's just medicinal? Because people get it confused.
Medicinal there.
See, because people
It's
think that
medicinal
it's
there.
been like a legal thing for like ever in Jamaica that you can just go and just smoke you can just go and smoke.
Yeah, it's very highly tolerated. Very highly tolerated.
Mm-hmm.
And decriminalized, but medical. And they've got dispensaries, and you could go in there, I could go in there, all of you guys can go in there, and you could get a little medical card written up right there, visit with the nurse.
Yeah, like it used to be in California.
Totally, yes.
And
that is how I heard Oklahoma is. I heard Oklahoma is like the wild, wild west, how California used to be.
Oklahoma.
I've heard some things about Oklahoma also. Tell me what you heard.
Really?
That's what I heard, that like they don't really, they're not clamping down on much of anything. That it's the wild west out there. And
I heard that everybody has grow licenses and retail licenses, and it's just like free for all, and there's no shortage of cannabis for anybody.
No, they're not running out.
They out there smoking it up.
Yeah, because they
who would have thought Oklahoma?
Yeah,
basically, a lot of people say, depends who you ask, that they got it right as far as like for the consumer and for the people, because they didn't marginalize anybody. They made it very accessible for everybody to get a license, very accessible for everybody to get.
They just kept it simple.
Exactly. So now everybody is able to sell it and everybody's able to consume it.
I get it.
People are making money. People are smoking. They're not getting in trouble. They're happier.
Well,
So
if you talk to a corporate person, April, they hate it because they can't make $100 billion, so it's a horrible program.
Wow.
I think we all need to take a trip to Oklahoma if it's like that. Let's go smoke it up and take a tour or something in Oklahoma.
Telling you, Oklahoma. I want to go to Oklahoma too. What they have going on? I kind of want to put together a Oklahoma retreat at a dude ranch or something.
Oh man, Oklahoma. Let's go bring their tourism up.
Yeah, we were written about in the Oklahoma Gazette. They have a little side piece magazine, and we were written about it because they did a whole issue on cannabis tourism. So what's up with my Oklahoma peeps?
Hey, we're going to have a Happy Monkey Oklahoma style.
Yeah, definitely. You should. Or, if you guys go on the road and just do like a tour, you should stop in Oklahoma.
We definitely stopping in Oklahoma.
When is your next retreat?
Smokelahoma.
Tell us about your next retreat and what are your plans for where's the next destination?
The next destination is next month for 420 in Jamaica for Baked on the Beach.
Where?
Yeah, that's in Little Bay, Jamaica, at my spot that we go to called Coral Cove. Small, so 18 rooms on 5 acres, beachfront, private beach, private reef, grow on site.
Nice.
We got yoga every morning, and all the food and all the drinks are included. Plus, and I gift everybody an eighth of weed.
Oh, come on.
Get more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You sound like an amazing host.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have fun doing this. I used to host all the cannabis cup judging houses when we were doing all the cups here in the States.
So you know what you're
I
doing.
got a few tricks up my sleeve.
So how do people sign up to this retreat? Can you let us know how do people sign up?
Yeah, well you can go to our website at higherwaytravel.com and click our Jamaica page, and Baked on the Beach will come up, and you could book via there, or you can always just hit us up in our DM on Instagram at Higherway Travel and say, hey, I want to go to Jamaica. We'll get you set up.
We've kind of skipped over something that I haven't tapped into because you're a Renaissance woman. You got so much going on. It's hard to keep up to. Tell us about how you became a yoga instructor and what do you do with that?
Well, so I became a yoga instructor because I was doing yoga that I taught myself out of a book that my parents used to have. And Then one summer, my friend Kevin Colino said, April, at the massage school I'm going to, they got this whole yoga program, and you'd probably really like the teacher. You should check it out. And I said, what? They have a school people can go to learn how to be yoga teachers? Okay. And I signed up, and that was like in 2004 when that program was like $1,500. And now you sign up for a yoga program, it's like $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah. And I had a really great program. I went for 9 months, and then I started working in the hotel industry, doing their activities, and I was the activities director for a long time. And then when I moved in with Bobby, I couldn't get a job as an activities director because that shit didn't really exist in New York City the way I was doing it in Arizona. So I got hooked up doing all those trips for the Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam.
I wanted to ask you, you watching its conception from the beginning to now, what is your opinion on High Times then and High Times now?
It's a whole different High Times now, for sure.
What's the
the only
difference? You gotta
person
help me understand. I wasn't
Yeah,
there
because-
before.
Yeah, we're a little bit new
Well,
school.
before it was like a family. Before it was like a family. People, the staff would work the cups, and then when the staff started getting married and stuff, all of the spouses started working the cups too. So it really was a family affair, and we ran all these events on a very small staff. And even though sometimes the events were chaotic and stuff, like we had a lot of love within the community because we were part of the community and we cared about the community and those are our people. And since High Times has kind of turned away from that and they've gotten much more corporate and kind of abandoned that family vibe, you can feel it.
Yeah, that's not the first time I've heard that take on it, and we definitely have heard that it's been a different vibe than it used to be.
Yeah. And I mean, the events started to get big, so it was really important to actually have professionals come in and who run events to help with those events. But, keeping the family spirit alive and letting people know that, we care about them and that I'm sorry that your booth is this, or I'm sorry that you're unhappy with that, but we care about you and we're actually human, giving you a human experience. I think that was so important. And they don't do that anymore.
Yes, that's what I've heard. I've heard that definitely different business models from when it started to now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was built on the outlaw mentality, man, and like sticking it to the man, not paying the man off so you can have stock trading or whatever. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying, right?
Of course,
Absolutely,
That's how we laughing. We know too well what you're saying.
We all know too well what you're saying. All about the rebel lifestyle, I guess. You know what I mean? They've been sticking it to us this whole time, so it's like, we get it.
Yeah.
We get it.
Honor the outlaws. Honor the outlaws. The black market's not going anywhere. Don't call it black market because it's really the traditional market.
Really the traditional market.
Traditional market.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah. I like that too. I was corrected by Kyle Cushman. I said, yeah, I just get my weed black market. He goes, no, traditional market. And I said, you're right. It is the traditional market.
Exactly.
Like
Well,
that.
we got $1 million question for you, April. Even though I don't know if you've really known much about us, but I'm gonna give you the question anyway. From what you've heard, we ask every guest if you had to describe Happy Monkey, the brand, the movement, everything you know about it, and what it embodies in one word. What would that word be, and why?
One word to embody. I would say vibe.
Vibes.
Vibes. That's a good one. Nobody used that one. That's good. Why would you say vibes?
Well, because you're creating a lot of different types of vibes, a lot of different types of ways, having the physical location, doing the show here and engaging with the community, having your little bits that you have on your Instagram and the other interviews that you show. I mean, it's just vibes, and you're just vibing out to the community.
That means a lot from a pioneer like you and a person that's really, really part of the culture and really seeing this game from what it was to what it is. Thank you for those kind words.
Absolutely, and we like to hear the opinions from people who's watching us from the outside, and because we don't really get to, we're stuck doing our work here, that we don't really get to hear much from people from, I guess, from the other side of the nation.
Oh, yeah, no, man, you guys are awesome. You got my middle-aged friend Peggy, who goes to the location there, who likes to enjoy the atmosphere, and she's even the gal who brings the door person cocoa when it's cold outside. She loves you guys. Peggy.
Oh, man, this is really, really, really dope, and we really, really enjoyed talking with you.
I enjoyed being part of the show today and being invited on. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It made my day.
Absolutely. I'm glad we reached out to each other, because that's basically what it was. We was like, we just reached out, and I sent Ralph all the info, and then we just really ran from there. And then Vladimir was like, oh, but that's Bobby. Oh, those are my people right there. Vladimir recognized everybody afterwards, so he was real happy. Cool. He was like, all right, let's do it.
That's cool. Yeah, man, that's how it always is. There's always like connection in the chain.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yes, we say that a lot, and that's true.
Absolutely. So definitely, everybody, it was a real, real pleasure. Let's give this lady one more round of applause. OG.
Oh, thank you.
Now, tell all the people before we unplug out of Happy Monkey World where they can find you or your outlets, and so if they want to look up and see what kind of amazing things you're doing, they know where to find you.
Sure. If you want to find us and see pictures of our trips and what we're up to online, you can check us out on Instagram at Higherway Travel, or you can check us out on our website, higherwaytravel.com. You can find us on Facebook, too, and your grandma could find us on Facebook, too, because I know that's really who's on Facebook now is the grandparents. But you can tell. You can also subscribe to our YouTube page. We have a lot of videos showing different parts of our trip, a lot of our Jamaica experience, different things from Amsterdam, and that's where we're at.
Awesome. Thank you very much again. It was our pleasure and our honor.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for being our first international phone call through the podcast. It was our first podcast through the phone, everybody. So that was this is a milestone for us. So thank you very much.
Happen more. You're welcome. It'll happen more and more,
All
so, to April, thank you. It was an honor and a pleasure for all your insight and your amazing, input and insight on, the cannabis industry and everything you've been through. Thank you for taking out the time to rock with us. Till next time, everybody out there in Happy Monkey World, we wish you nothing but peace, love, and happiness. Of course, with a little bit of cannabis.
Peace.
Oh, of course. Peace and love, everybody.
What's good, everybody? This is your nigga Ralph, trying to keep you fresh with the info from Happy Monkey every single podcast. You already know what it is. If you haven't followed us yet, follow us on Instagram at HappyMunkey_ or Happy Monkey Goodies. Now remember, that's monkey with a U. Also, if you haven't checked us out, we're on YouTube. So check out our channel, Happy Monkey TV. Keep us current, live, and everything with the culture.